Can I ask you something? How much would you pay for me to buy this video? Like, if it was up for sale and you could own it. I would give you some fancy certificate that you are the sole owner of this YouTube video made by me, Laszlo, from Dantjeren blog, talking about crypto art. Of course it would still be here though. I wouldn't take it off of YouTube, no. People would still be able to watch it here. Share it, comment under it, whatever they want. And not gonna lie, most of these viewers wouldn't even know that you are the actual owner of this video. So how much? $20? $200? Who knows, maybe in 10-15 years time I'm going to be some famous artist and then you could resell this video for like $20,000. Doesn't that sound good? What's that? No, I can't promise that it's gonna worth that much. It might end up being worthless. You gotta risk it. That's kind of the whole point. So what do you say? Hey you guys, welcome back to our channel, the #1 place for people who love design, art and all things creative. My name is Laszlo, you're watching Dantjeren blog's channel, and in this video I'm going to attempt to explain everything you need to know about crypto art, NFTs, the blockchain and all these fancy buzzwords that you might have or might have not heard lately. I want to give you guys the pros and cons of crypto art, what they are, what do they mean, and generally why should we care about all this as creatives. Now let me tell you, I have been participating and paying attention to the digital art world for a little short of 10 years now. And in my time here, I always found that digital artists as a community are incredibly warm, friendly people who have created very nice and friendly digital communities in whichever platforms they migrated to over the years. From back in the early 2010s with DeviantArt and then Tumblr, and these days Instagram and Twitter, wherever they may be and have been as times have changed in terms of where do you post your work. And it really feels like that as a union, this family of artists is no longer a thing. It sounds hyperbolic, it sounds like overreacting, but I genuinely believe that we are at a turning point for many artists. And while watching your heroes fight each other can be very entertaining if it happens in a movie, when it occurs in real life, well, that's concerning to say the least. Crypto art, which I will explain in a second, has turned everything upside down and basically divided the artist community into two opposing groups. Artists who think crypto art and NFTs are basically the best thing that ever happened to the industry since the invention of sliced bread. And artists who think introducing art to the crypto space is an absolute literal catastrophe. Now, after all this teasing, let me explain some of this mess. So crypto art 101, let me try to define what crypto art actually means. Extremely powerful computers have the ability to mark a digital file by giving it a unique, complex code, like an ID number of sorts. This code is called the non-fungible token, NFT for short, which is, in the case of a digital artwork file, is basically serving as proof of authenticity. It serves as proof because every token is different, requires a lot of computer power to make, cannot be replicated, and for one file you can only create one token. These NFTs, once they have been created, are being safely stored and recorded onto this big database called the blockchain, which is essentially a big old spreadsheet containing everything there is to know about the validity of your token, proving that your file assigned to this NFT is the original file. What is happening right now is people are buying and selling all these codes within each other, using cryptocurrencies as a new way of art dealing, thus creating the world of crypto art. Does any of that make sense? If this was too much for you, imagine it like this. If I were to buy a painting, like a classical painting by someone famous, I wouldn't just get the painting off of the previous owner's wall, right? There is a bunch of paperwork which would also come with the purchase. Certificates of authenticity, records of the previous owners, transaction histories, that kind of stuff. All of which I would like to see prior to my purchase, to make sure I'm buying the real artwork made by the real artist. I'm not being tricked into buying a fake. Crypto art is basically the same thing but doing all of this digitally. We now basically have a way to validate digital files by assigning these unique tokens to them as a way of making sure that your file is the valid original file. That's not to say that you can stop people copying and pasting duplicates of these files that you quote-unquote own. People absolutely can. The very same way the Louvre in Paris can stop me from taking a picture of the Mona Lisa and use it as a background screensaver on my phone. This whole thing is a bit more like, what's the word? Symbolic? A little something to yourself if you want to collect art or support an artist. Or invest into digital art, hoping that one day you can resell these files for a higher price. Now, this whole crypto art world has, as I mentioned before, has created a divide between artists, people who are for it and people who are against it. And I wanna tell you why. Let's start by talking about the positives of crypto art. Let's start with something positive, shall we? First of all, artists of today absolutely have to diversify their income streams just to make a living, and this thing promises hefty profits to a selected few. It's also nice to see that digital art, maybe for the first time in history, is being recognized as a valid art form that is worth investing into. Honestly, just have a little Google search to yourself and see how much some of these NFTs are selling for. You will be surprised, I can guarantee that much. Another huge positive is the royalty aspect of this whole thing. Every time someone resells the NFT that you have created as an artist, you get given a little bit of commission, which can potentially become a great source of exponential income, as people will only sell your stuff if and when it's profitable to do so. And that's something that doesn't happen with traditional art dealing. In the olden days, once you have sold an original artwork of yours, that was it. You have nothing to do with it anymore. And my last positive point is that this whole crypto art world is relatively inclusive. Anyone can create an NFT, and there are many websites out there which are tailored to the kind of stuff you might want to trade. The process would come with a hefty learning curve, of course, it's a new technology after all. Like, you do need to create a digital wallet where you keep your cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Ethereum, which is the main cryptocurrency that's being used in most of these websites. And you know what, this is the point where we should start talking about the negatives. As I'm pretty sure some of you are already rolling your eyes when I'm talking about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and turning your hard-earned cash into digital currencies that can only be used for one thing. Like, yeah, that's already quite a big catch for some, as you need to buy into this before you can make any money. And making NFTs is not cheap. On a supply and demand basis, I don't think it's going to get cheap for a while, as so many people are losing their minds over this whole thing at the moment. Oh yeah, and there are purchase fees as well, on top of base art prices, which basically means that you pay for buying as well as pay for selling. Running this whole system, making NFTs, is a costly business, and the pricing value of crypto is oftentimes referred to as gas, which is quite ironic because if we can believe the rumors, this whole token production is using ridiculous, like barely incomprehensible amounts of energy. And this is the biggest catch of the whole system. These supercomputers creating Ethereum, creating NFTs, keeping this whole system alive, are burning fossil fuels to such a rate that is quite frankly not worth the price. I don't know if all these very scary statistics that people are throwing at us are true, but my guess is they can be very far from the truth. And of course, all these crypto websites are promising that they are in the process of switching to renewable energy sources. If you look at the fact that only about 11% of the USA's energy is being created by renewable sources, we are nowhere near living in a time when this whole crypto thing is justifiable. This is what sparks the debates. This is why many people are unfollowing their favorite artists. Disagreeing on this issue is what I think has changed the digital artist community as we knew it. And yeah, this is the point when people like to point it out that we are using a lot of energy anyway. We are burning fossil fuels every time we jump in our car, every time we eat meat, every time we turn on the central heating in our houses. All very true. But there is a great difference between using energy to keep warm and feed your family than to deal with art online. Art, as a whole, is still very much of a luxurious item. Also, why would you justify energy consumption with more energy consumption? I remember my brother told me this anecdote one day and I thought it fits here perfectly. Let's say you are driving your car, get unlucky and you get a puncture. You have to stop, right? Now, is it logical to get out of your car, look at the puncture and then decide to slash the other 3 tires as well, thinking that, oh well, we're not going anywhere anyway? Of course, there are a number of other negatives that come to play here as well, like art theft, which has already been a very big problem in this industry. And this is just oil to the fire. Like, there isn't a real system in place that would prove that the person who have created the NFT, the non-fungible token, assigning to a piece of artwork, is the actual creator of the artwork itself. How do we know that? None of these crypto art websites are doing any background checks on this, which is very alarming. Since this whole crypto art world has only been around for a couple of years, there are no laws or regulations in place that would protect us, the consumers. So questions like, what happens if I lose my digital wallet? Or what if the crypto art dealing site that I'm using goes bust? Or how this whole thing affects current copyright laws? All of those questions are seemingly being ignored. There are serious holes in this system, and I'm sure there are people out there who will take advantage of users who are uninformed, trying to hack the system and see what they can get away with. We are living through this trial phase when people are making NFTs for all kinds of weird things. There are NFTs for famous tweets, NFTs for YouTube videos, some people are burning physical artwork in favor of keeping the NFT version instead. The market is getting flooded with junk and very low quality artworks, all of which makes this whole thing akin to selling and buying air. Do you know those websites where you can buy and name your own star? Or a little square meter piece of land in Scotland, granting you the title of a Scottish lord? It's pretty much the same thing here, but yeah, that's just my opinion. So yeah, even if I could look past the environmental issues in question, which as the Danthier and Balog brand we just can't, for now I would still side with the naysayers. I know this might make you feel like you are missing out on some easy money here, but let me ask you this. There is serious money in modern art as well, selling paintings. Have you ever thought of missing out on money there? When you see a that simple paint splat on a canvas, or a banana taped into a wall, being auctioned for like $1 trillion. There is a high level of elitism that's going on in the art world, unfortunately. And this whole crypto thing is for sure replicating this exclusiveness. Apart from a very lucky selected few, only the already famous artists will make serious money with this. And to tell you the truth, those are the people who don't need the extra cash. Gosh, I'm sorry, I know this is like absolute headache material. All of this been happening for a couple years now, but lately this whole market, this whole idea just blew up because a couple people have hit jackpot, and I just felt like I had to talk about it. I hope it helped you in some way. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up because that really does support our channel. And while you are here, join our little design tribe so you don't miss out on the upcoming videos. We aim to give you 2 videos every week about illustration, graphic design, content creation, architecture, interior design, all that cool stuff. Take care guys, I'll see you this time next week. Bye! And yes, I tried to cut my beard like Iron Man does. It's really hard, you know.